Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I just really want to talk about my hype for BF6. I've really enjoyed playing the open beta and I really hope that you guys have. Please do comment down your experience, what you've loved, what you've hated down in the comments, that'd be fantastic. But today I really want to focus on what the future could hold for Battlefield 6 and some of the elements of Battlefield 6 that they've already talked about that I'm very much looking forward to. I want to start off with maps. Now, the maps so far, the three we've been given, have all been great in my opinion, really detailed. They really give me that old feeling of playing a Battlefield game. They're kind of perfect sizes. They are a little bit, I guess some people have argued that they are small, and I think, yeah, there's an argument for that in a sense, but I think how they've made it flow, it works really well. I've really enjoyed the open beta so far, and I think the 3 months they've given us have really given us that good kind of flavour of Battlefield as a whole. You've kind of got Liberation Peak, which is the jet map, then you've got Cairo, which has got the kind of the 2 tanks on it, and I'm pretty sure the other one, I can't remember, I know it's got King in the name, I can't remember its full name, but again, another kind of more infantry focused game mode, map, sorry, and it has a couple of tanks, a tank at least for each side, and I just think they've done a very good job at kind of showing the game that they've made, and it has really hyped me up for the launch. So let's first of all talk about next weekend, because we have the open beta next weekend and I'm already hyped for that. We get the Brooklyn map, which is from the reveal event. Looked fantastic. Now that is a full infantry only mode, and it's going to be very interesting to see how the rest of the community take that on board. I would have liked to have seen maybe Operation Firestorm as well, to bring in a more vehicle focused map again, just to reinforce that, you know, this is Battlefield. Again, it is all about that all-out war combat, where we have, hopefully naval comes back at some point, but mainly the air vehicles. Some of the balancing I would like to see on the air vehicles as well, but touching that is the attack choppers are like made of paper mache at the moment. They go down really easily, but I'll make another video on that. However, let's talk about maps, why it's hyping me up. The 3 maps we've got so far, and from the reveal event, and next week we'll be able to talk a little bit more about Brooklyn map, a little bit more in detail, but they've been fantastic. I've really enjoyed them. There hasn't really been a weak link for me. I've enjoyed all 3 maps so far. They've given me a different experience for the most part across all 3. And the thought that we've still got 7 maps, we'll have 6 more that we will not have played at release, because we'll have Brooklyn next weekend. It's exciting. It really excites me to see what they've done. They seem to have really brought it back to Battlefield, and that is one of the first points I wanted to bring up as hype. I think the environments they've brought to us, the kind of level of how you go from kind of point of interest to having an engagement with an enemy is very quick, and I'm very much excited to see what they come back with. Secondly, the next thing that's hyping me up is Rush is a featured mode. They seem to be really pushing the Conquest, Breakthrough and Rush as the kind of 3 main modes. I saw it on those kind of like media sort of suitcases they sent out to content creators, and they had some girls there, I think it's PTFO, so they want people playing the objective, which is also great. But Rush for me has been a fantastic mode in Battlefield, and I think recently, in the most recent releases, it hasn't really had the limelight it should have done. The big thing for me is that they have spent the time making the maps work for the modes. The only reason I say this is because from the open beta weekend, the Breakthrough map for Liberation Peak doesn't seem to work as intended. It does seem to be extremely defense heavy on the first point, and I don't think I've ever won as an attacker. I've definitely won as a defender many a times, even if it gets to the second point. But that map probably needs to have a little bit of work done for that balance. I don't know what they can do there, but I'll be interested to see what other people are feedbacking that with, and that may kind of inspire me a little bit to give some more feedback. I've only played it a couple of times in Operation Breakthrough, and I probably need to play a little bit more the rest of the weekend. But Rush being featured, Rush is one of my favourite game modes in Battlefield when it was introduced, and now I feel like the team know what, you know, from the maps they've made so far. I really hope Rush has been a forefront with that design, and they've really got something to show us, and thankfully next weekend we get to play that alongside the Brooklyn map, and I'm very much looking forward to it. And I want to spend the next couple minutes talking about Portal. I think a lot of people are confusing Portal with the 2042 mode Portal, which was basically a separate game inside of Battlefield 2042, which hosted, I guess, older maps as well as the newer maps from 2042, and it kind of gave people limited ability to kind of do some edits to the rules. And for the most part, unfortunately, what Portal was used for in 2042 was XP farming, from what I could see. What I used it for was the official game. They always had this like official, I guess, playlist that they would put on, and there was one, I think it was called Battlefield World Tour. Yeah, me and Panther played it I think it was last weekend before the beta came out. We were like, let's get hyped on Battlefield again, and we jumped on it, and it had some maps on 2042, Bad Company 2, BF3, and we loved it, especially when it rolled to those older maps that had been remade for Portal. And I think people are getting confused that that's what this is going to be again. It's just going to be some, you know, like a selection of older maps that people get to play. You can mess around with it. You can make some XP farm servers, I guess. I assume that's still going to be the case, as they are keeping the kind of XP gain from Portal. And that's fantastic, because I think Portal saved 2042 for me. 2042 went for a lot. However, while it was going through a lot of the map redesigns, I was basically just playing Portal, if I'm completely honest with you all. And I imagine if we get what they say from Portal, which is this kind of Godot style editor where we can potentially create our own maps, you know, some of the stuff they showed with that only up mode and stuff kind of crashing down from a height as you try to avoid it. If we do actually get all access to that sort of stuff and we are able to create mental stuff, I've got a couple of series in my mind that I want to kind of go ahead and start making on the kind of the side, and hopefully, you know, we do get, especially map editor. I've got an idea of what I'd like to do for a YouTube series there, and also hopefully, you know, it gets to full fruition and, you know, we make it and it enters the game. But I think Portal, I think people are sleeping on this at the moment. I think it could really give the game a lot of lifespan. And then we also have a Battle Royale. I've always enjoyed a Battle Royale mode that's like coming out, and I'm very interested to see kind of where they take that from Firestorm in Battlefield 5. I actually enjoyed Firestorm, bar the looting. But that's it, guys. I'm going to leave it there. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. If you could like, subscribe and comment, it will really help with me with the channel.